The latest U.S. Census data came out yesterday morning, and it shows that Illinois counties are shrinking. 92 of 102 counties losing population in the past year that ended June of 2022. And Cook County, in particular, was second in the nation for losing people, behind only Los Angeles County over in California. Governor J.B. Pritzker, when I asked him about population decline, he's downplayed it in the past. He's even denied it's happening in the past. Well, in anticipation of these numbers coming out this week, I asked him on Wednesday his reaction is if he still thinks that Illinois is not losing population. Here's what the governor had to say in response to that question.
That's not census data, just to be clear, right? A census is done. Yeah, fair enough. But we did not lose population, as you saw when the Census Bureau data came through for the 2020 census. We actually gained population. Especially as they looked more closely after the initial announcements at what happened state to state. So I'm pleased about that. I think the American Community Survey data is a little more suspect, as you know, and clearly miscounted Illinois population over the years leading up to the actual counting of people during the census, and it continues to be inaccurate in its count.
Have you ever heard back from the census, the request that you guys put in? Because they haven't changed the number. We lost a congressperson in 2020.
Yeah, that is something every 10 years they do the same thing, right? They come out with the initial number. That's what they use. Partly that's because otherwise every state's reapportionment would be moved. And so they just set the number and leave it there. But we all know from the data that came out after that we gained population.
So again, that's Governor J.B. Pritzker in response to a question I had earlier this week about if he still stands by the idea that we're growing in Illinois. Look at the number from the U.S. Census. It does not show Illinois growing. It shows Illinois losing about 1 million people or so. And that drop actually led to the loss of a congressperson. So the 2020 census actually showed 18,000 fewer people, but that was enough to lose a congressperson. If you look at the estimates from year to year to year to year, it's hundreds of thousands of people have been lost. Instead of being 12.7 million, I think we're like 12.6 million. But again, look at the latest official U.S. Census number, and that's what you get. I asked State Representative LaShawn Ford for his reaction, and in particular, his thoughts of Governor J.B. Pritzker seeming to deny that Illinois is shrinking. We'll get to that coming up here in a moment, but of course, we'll take your phone calls. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Yes. How come Pritzker isn't up there fighting to get our congressman that we've lost back if the data's wrong? I mean, that's what he ought to be doing for the people of Illinois.
Well, he says, and the Democrats put a letter into the U.S. Census demanding that the number be revised upwards. But listen, the damage is already done. We lost that congressperson in the Congress that started in January of this year.
Well, sending a letter gets it done, don't it? He ain't up there fighting because he ain't got no facts.
Well, I appreciate the call, 217-629-7970. Another call. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Good morning. I had a little delay, so I don't know if you've changed subjects yet. I was going to comment on the governor's reason why Illinois is not losing population, and that's because they're bringing in illegal immigrants to displace the Illinois population. And he uses what I call Babylonian word magic really well. I hear a little bit of that going on also between 4 and 6. Or 4 and 7 on the station.
Well, and I think maybe you're saying that the governor claims we're not shrinking because he knows that the undocumented migrant population is growing in Illinois. Is that essentially what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I believe. And Chicago, Cook County area is a sanctuary city, I believe.
Yeah. But even in Chicago, and I appreciate the call, even in Chicago, State Representative LaShawn Ford, he lives in Chicago. He notes that he sees it in his own community of the population declining. Here's just a couple of moments with State Representative LaShawn Ford.
Oh, you know what? I think Illinois is a welcoming state for everybody, and I think that we have to make sure that we start growing our population in Illinois. We've lost a large number of people to other states like Florida for the weather. I'll just say that. I mean, of course, our financial situation in Illinois has improved, so that's going to help us provide more services to constituents throughout the state. We're investing more money in higher ed, we're investing more money in early childhood education, and we're investing more money in businesses. I hope that this will help drive people back to Illinois and sort of stop people from leaving the state. But we do have a problem, and I think we have to use our institutions like higher ed to recruit people. Well, I don't know if the governor clearly stated that there's no population decline. He may have, but I think that if you look at the numbers, it's clear that we have a loss of people in the state of Illinois. I mean, even in the community that I live in, Austin, we've lost population. So I think that he's on the right track of trying to recruit people from other states and to keep people here in Illinois. So I'm working with the governor to make sure that we can recruit people to our public universities and to our private universities in the state and to our community colleges that have so much good going on.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
So again, that's
This, Bishop, we have a great program for early childhood education. We're investing more money. So I think this is a place where people could come in and raise a family. And Illinois is a great place to be. Just look at all the opportunities that's here.
So again, it's State Representative LaShawn Ford clearly saying he's seeing population decline. He didn't necessarily hear the governor's comments beforehand, but he says it's clear that we are losing population. So there's a Democrat. I talked to a Republican, Win Stoller. He's from the Peoria area, Germantown Hills to be more specific, and here's what he had to say. Clearly, Republicans have been pointing to population decline for a while. He lays out a little bit of a different approach. Ford, as you heard, said, hey, invest in higher education, invest in K through 12, more money for education. Stoller has a different take. He says that there really needs to be a focus on the business climate.
Well, I think the 50 states represent an opportunity for competition among states, for opportunity. And when states show that they are competitive with taxes, with economic development opportunities, you see population go there. You see people leaving the state because there's more opportunities. You know, there's been many opportunities for new electric auto plants around the country. Illinois hasn't won any. And part of that is our economic and business climate. And so if we want to be attracting people to Illinois, we need to start with our tax environment, our business regulations to promote jobs, to promote economic opportunity. Well, we can't put our head in the sand, right? We have to face reality, and the reality is our population is not growing. In fact, in most cases, we see evidence that it's shrinking. And you know, they say the first step is acknowledging that we have a problem. And we do have a problem, whether it's anecdotally. Many people I talk to, they're talking about where they're going to move to, where their children have moved to. My own son has moved to Chattanooga. Chattanooga was the same size as my hometown of Peoria just 10 years ago. Now it's double the size because they have attracted a new Volkswagen electric car plant. And that's where my son works, in Chattanooga. And so you see opportunities like that. He would have loved to stay in Illinois, but the opportunity was in Tennessee, a state that has no income tax.
So again, just different perspectives there from some lawmakers at the State House, both sides of the aisle, saying that, hey, we are losing population. Somewhat different approaches that they seem to be taking, while the governor denies that Illinois is shrinking. All right, a lot more coming up here with Springfield's Morning.